in a high-profile game against rival North Carolina, the NBA has proposed abolishing the one-and-done rule by lowering the draft age from 19 to 18, thus allowing talent like Zion to skip college and go directly to the NBA out of high school. Any rule change would need to be collectively bargained with the Players Association. But Mavs owner Mark Cuban is raising a red flag, saying, quote, "The really bad unintended consequence is you're going to see AAU programs and parents push harder to get kids featured, maybe at the expense of their education, maybe at the expense of really learning how to play basketball. There's going to be a lot of people pimping none and done, and you're going to see a lot of kids fall hard and be ineligible, all kinds of issues." I think Mark Cuban raises a legitimate concern, and I think there'll be other ramifications from this. Again, I'm crystal clear on this, and I don't think the one and done or the none and done is the right thing. I wish they would figure out a way to pay college players real money to stay in college. I think there will be ramifications from this.
Stopping short of finding a real program that provides value for those who are staying in college for that experience, that education, I will say it should be none and done. Until you can find that system, because I think that will be optimal. The reality is one and done does nothing but stop a guy who's potentially prepared for a professional experience and not allowing him to have that. So I say none and done. I want you to have a high school diploma just because I want a minimum standard in terms of citizenship and standards met in terms of education before you enter the NBA. But there have been countless guys who went none and done and been great for the game and great off the court as well. So until they can figure out something that's going to really allow these guys to grow in their collegiate experience on, off the court, and monetize it, none and done. If you're ready, go pro.
You know, the funny thing is I understand both points. And being a basketball player, not fortunate enough to leave high school, right, to go straight to the pros. You understand what Mark Cuban is saying because I'm not a fan of AAU. I don't think they teach you how to play basketball, right? I think it is more of a pimping kind of thing for a lot of the kids. And kids that are from California, you might get a kid that's amazing from Vegas and they ship to California to play on the AAU team, and then another kid from Georgia, and they all play together. And I just don't I don't think that's fair. Like when I was younger, your talent was in your city, right? And that's what you played with. Now, as far as if you're eligible and you're good enough to play in the NBA, I think you should go through some type of course, and that course is at least a 6-month to a year course. So if I know if I'm going to my senior year and I'm number one, I think from financial classes to real estate classes to things like that that's going to preserve your wealth the older you get, I think those things you should be able to, they should be teaching you.
The NBA PA, they teach that stuff. It's where the guys pay attention.
Well, no, that's when you have the money already, right? That's orientation when you're already there. Yeah. We're talking about in high school. I think there's things in high school that just for everybody, but especially athletes, they should be learning those little things like that because that can preserve your wealth when you get to that point. Now, you know, being paid in college is great too.
But you need the experience to map on to so you can really internalize that because like he said, we had that as well in the NFL, and you go through all those courses of education without experience and you don't know where it lands. Because one, I want to go through this process and do it my way, and it may not be necessarily the way that the former player did it, and it may not be a way that gets me in harm's way. But it's still, the education just kind of gets drowned out because I have nothing to map it onto. So it has to be a continual process.
Look, I was told this as a possible angle on all this in terms of the NBA's collective bargaining agreement, I think, is 2021. This wouldn't go into effect until 2022. Guess who has a son who will be 18 in 2022 and eligible to go straight from high school to the pros?
LeBron,
yeah.
LeBron.
And that perhaps is a little bit of the driving force of the removal of LeBron wants to play in the NBA with his son. And one of the quickest way to do it so he doesn't have to spend a year in college would be able to get rid of this rule. And then LeBron can be just like LeVar Ball and he can play with his son.
Well, I don't mind how it gets done if it gets done and it's the right thing. Like, I understand where you're coming from. Like, oh, LeBron once again flexing his power, but nothing moves without someone powerful and something powerful behind it. So, yeah, if that's the agenda, it saves a lot of other kids from
my issue is, like, if that's part of the push, let's say it's only 2% of the push, whatever percent, is it a push for the right reasons? Again, does anybody at any point ever say, are we doing what's best for the game of basketball? And again, I think a lot of the conversation about the NBA is dishonest. I really do. I don't think the product on the court is as good as it could be if these guys spent some time in a real apprenticeship.
It's because they don't know how to play. You're right.
Yeah, they're not getting taught how to play.
They don't have a high IQ, and that's what it is. But if you're going to put those kids out there, it's like it's a trade mechanism app called Think and Swim. And you go to Think and Swim first to learn how to trade with fake money until you go to the E-Trade and the Ameritrade. You do that first. So I think you have to set yourself up, especially because you're going to have a certain amount of money, whether it's the G League, whether it's across seas, or whether it's the NBA. You're still going to have some money, and if you're good enough, it'll be the NBA. But I think you need to set yourself up in those type of situations first.
Well, I mean, look, Kobe was great for the game. LeBron's great for the game.
Talking about the
and then there's flips. There's a flip side to that coin. I respect that. Robert Swift. Ooh, what happened there?
Kwame Brown.
Kwame Brown. Like, there's flips to the coin, but you got to get a guy the opportunity.
But again, I'm talking about just we can talk about Kobe, LeBron, and KG, the best of the best.
Right.
But I'm talking about, what about the mid-level players that do have 10-year careers in the NBA that don't know how to play this game, don't know how to prepare, don't know how to compete? Again, that's a lot of the things you learn in the college experience. What blew my mind going from high school to college was like, I thought I used to work hard. And then I got to college, I was like, holy cow, I was doing nothing. When you go from college to the pros, it's like, wow, I thought I prepared myself in college.
Yeah.
But then I get to the pros and it's a whole nother level.
So wouldn't you want to skip that step because it's always evolving? So who cares what your collegiate level of preparation is? It's going to have to change again once you get to the pros. My best experience is going to be at that level. When I trained for football, there was a day I used to run track in the offseason. Then it became football specialized training because the 400 meters is not going to help you on this football field. You got to get right into the grind of it and see how it goes.
We got to go. Coming up, some Ole Miss basketball players took a knee during the anthem this weekend in response to a Confederacy rally near their campus. I'll tell you how this could have been handled differently next.